episode 2 of If the Boot Fits.
I give up even trying to say it at the same time because the last time it just went terribly wrong.
1, 2, 3.
If the boot
fits. That was better.
That was better. I think we need a countdown every time, and then what we'll do is we'll just cut it out and
cut out the countdown. Yeah. Well, it is sunny outside today.
It is
We've been
very
frolicking in the sunshine.
It is. I mean, someone's got a bit burnt. Quite
Probably
burned,
can't see
actually.
it from
I
the
mean,
camera.
I'd like to think you can't see it.
Probably can't. No. But I did.
Mr. Krabs over here.
I did badly burn yesterday. I don't understand because I did put sun cream on. Just obviously not
in that
enough.
place.
Clearly not in that place.
No.
But yeah, all my chest is burnt, but it's fine. I lathered on the after sun, and it will be fine. It will fade to a tan.
Exactly.
I'm sure it will be okay. But yeah, we've been enjoying the weather this morning. I feel slightly lethargic after that little sunbathe, but you know, all good. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I mean, it's nice to know that we're back with another episode, to be honest, because I know what we're like. We'll start something and then just not finish it. So, but we're back. We're back with episode 2. Episode 1 seemed to go down quite well, and hopefully
with the 6 people.
With the 6 people. Actually, do you know what? We did have quite a few more than 6 people.
Did we?
We have had quite a few more than 6 people. I
haven't even looked.
I'll have to have a look at the stats on Spotify, because Spotify and YouTube are the only things that I can see the statistics on. But we seem to have reached
100 views on YouTube or something.
So far, we've got 100 views, and it wasn't us either. So we have had people watching.
I'm not gonna lie, I've not watched it.
And a lot of people have watched the whole thing as well.
Oh.
Which is good because you can see how long people have watched it for.
It's
and a lot of people have watched like 90% of it. Yeah.
I'm like, who was watching? I'd love to know.
Exactly.
But I bet half the people watching would probably not even own up to watching, would they?
Well, no, probably
Some
not.
Some random people we know from school.
But to be fair, going back to work, I actually had like a few of like the grounds team of all people being like, "Oh, I enjoyed the podcast." Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Weird. So
well, I suppose I would listen. Like, yeah. If someone from work was doing a podcast,
but that's the thing. Listen. Like, the only place we've ever really advertised it where people could see it is on like Facebook for like people that we're friends with at work. Obviously, Instagram we posted it on, but I'm not really friends with many people from work on Instagram. So
true.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully, this one can get 200 views. Subscribe.
And turn on the notifications as well. Yeah, don't be a creeper. Don't be lurking. We know that you're watching it.
Anyway, I thought it would be a fun idea to start this episode with a little this or that.
This or
just
that.
Just to see this or that.
We need that. We need some like dramatic intro music over that, but I think that's going to make life very difficult trying to edit. So we'll see what happens there.
So I found some this or that questions. It's going to be like quick fire, so I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and then we say.
Are you going to start? Are we going to take it in turns? Like, are you reading?
Have you got?
I've got some up as well, but like, but whether like I don't know.
Okay, we'll take it in turns then.
Take it in turns, okay.
My first one. All right, are we ready? Playlists or podcasts? 3, 2, 1. Podcasts. Now I've said podcasts, and now I'm like, do I mean that? Because playlists is like, surely that's listening to music, right? And I love listening to music.
I suppose it's like, do you have like set playlists that you have?
Oh, like, I see. Oh, yeah, probably podcasts then. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like, because I don't have Spotify anymore. When I had Spotify, me and my friends used to have like joint playlists all the time, so it was quite good. But Apple Music, I don't use that feature. I don't even know if that is a feature on there, but yeah, I don't really use it. Like,
I need to make more playlists for myself because I know what I like and I can't find playlists. I'm like, just make it.
I feel like I need to get Spotify again.
Like a workout playlist.
Yeah,
you do. I feel like Spotify's the best. Then we can make playlists
but with
together.
my phone plan, I just had Apple Music included. But if I get Spotify, maybe I'm
sure we could find a plan. Anyway, I'm going to go with podcasts because I do listen to podcasts a lot.
Well, to be fair, I tend to watch podcasts.
Yeah,
more.
so
like
do I.
Amber
actually.
Davies, Hannah Lowther. I tend to watch. I mean, a lot of them you can watch on Spotify now with the visuals, but.
My top podcasts, obviously at the top is The Girls' Bathroom, obsessed. Then I like Call Her Daddy as well.
Sorry?
Call Her Daddy.
I don't know what that is.
Do you know what Call Her Daddy is?
No, I've only ever heard of The Girls' Bathroom. That's because you're
well, Call Her Daddy is pretty iconic as well. And then I've just started listening to Florence Given's podcast because, again, I'm kind of on a Florence Given hype at the moment with her book. I feel like I mentioned the book in the last episode, so I'm not going to go on about it again. But yeah, that's one is called Exactly, and that's a really good podcast as well for any women out there They want to learn. Well, and men, but it's about like a lot to do with like women things.
All right, this one. To be fair, this one's difficult for me to answer. Some bit in between. I feel like you'll answer it a lot easier than I will.
Okay.
Coffee or tea? 3, 2, 1.
Tea.
Coffee.
How is that hard for you? I feel like you are definitely coffee.
I know, but then, I mean, I don't really make coffee at home anymore.
You love
I used
coffee.
to, but yeah, I am like a coffee fiend.
I'm not like, I like an iced coffee.
Yeah.
But I'll never opt really for a coffee over. I'll always have a tea, really.
But that's what I mean. When I'm at home, I tend to drink more tea. Like I have like the instant coffee granules and stuff, but I never really use it. And
right. Anyway, that's enough talking. When I'm joking. I'm kidding. Yes, carry on. Coffee granules. That's a taste of your medicine. I learned
my lesson very quickly. Obviously, my Nespresso machine that I had has like broken now. I literally was like making a coffee and it wasn't even going in the mug. It was just coming out the back. So it's broken. But my good friend George, if he's watching, hopefully he is. Otherwise, he's a otherwise he's a fake friend.
Fake friend.
He's actually given me his Sage coffee machine, which is like a proper coffee machine with the grinder and everything. So it's
there you go. So coffee for you,
gonna
tea
make coffee,
for me.
yeah.
Just purely because I can't beat a cup of tea.
Yeah, it can't beat a cup of tea. Like after we finish
with
work,
cake and biscuits is the best. And
digestive.
This is where I go wrong.
Bit of a dunk.
Let me just say what. For me, like the best biscuit to dunk in a tea is a digestive. Like I could eat a whole packet of digestives dunked in tea because the texture of it is just something else. And I don't think there's any other biscuit that I prefer to dunk. What's your favourite dunkable biscuit?
Probably
digestive.
Probably digestive. Yeah. I quite like a rich tea, but it literally has to be like a in and out situation because otherwise it sogs and then it just disintegrates into the cup. And then when you get to the bottom of your tea, it's just all in the bottom and it's just not very pleasant, is it?
Ooh. This causes a lot of divide in the world, I do know, but it's really not that serious. 3, hang on, I've got to say it first.
Count it down. 3, 2, 1.
Sorry.
3, 2,
I'm just reading it in my brain.
It'll be funny if you just said the answer. I'd be like,
right, hang on. Cats or dogs? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Cats.
Dogs. It's hard because at home I have a cat. Like I don't have a dog.
Yes,
I used to have a dog when I was younger.
Your cat is the most precious, sweet thing.
Yeah.
Look,
he is cute.
I love both. I do. Like the dog people seem to have this like real hate for cats, whereas the cat people just love both.
I don't hate either.
I love cats. I don't like all cats.
I just find but I feel like I prefer.
I don't like all dogs either.
I feel there's some dogs like there's some breeds of dogs where I'm like stay away, but there's like cats are really cute, but I feel like they kind of just do their own thing, which is kind of the good thing about them.
That's the point, exactly. That's the good thing about cats.
Dogs are very much like it is like having a child.
Exactly, and cats you have to earn their respect, you know.
Exactly,
they don't
but
just
dogs are just. I feel
everyone.
like dogs are very consistently cute, and until you get like the odd one that's like gets away.
I reckon there's just as many feral, bitey, yappy dogs as there are
100%.
feral, scratchy, yappy cats. So
yeah,
I would defend the cats till the day I die.
Breakfast or dinner?
Okay, easy.
3, 2, 1. Dinner.
Sorry, I forgot. I was
cheating.
Hang on, no.
It was dinner.
Dinner.
Can I explain my reasoning behind this?
Yes.
Because you can literally have, well, like in terms of like a cooked breakfast, you could have that for dinner. Like that's a dinner sometimes. I mean,
yeah, but you can't really have dinner for breakfast.
Well, exactly. That's why at dinner time.
But also, who has breakfast for dinner? That's a bit weird.
No, but sometimes people have like a
fry up
for dinner sometimes.
I suppose sometimes, but
I feel like I've never done that since being an adult, but like when I was a child.
Being an adult.
Yeah.
I just love dinner. I think breakfast is fine, but there's nothing like I've always struggled with breakfast. I just feel like there's no breakfast that I'm like, that's like delicious.
Unless I'm going out for breakfast, but like actually like cooking breakfast and making it is difficult sometimes. But to be fair,
and I get the ick with like egg. If I have too much egg, I get the ick.
Love an egg.
The only breakfast that I'm like...
The only breakfast.
I'm sorry, I had like a burp coming.
The only breakfast.
The only breakfasts that I like literally love and I will spring out of bed for are the really unhealthy ones. And obviously I can't have that every day. Like pancakes with chocolate
Ooh,
and like
yum.
syrup and like, I just love like crumpets with Nutella on. I don't really like any healthy breakfast.
Reminds me of like holiday.
Yeah.
Like all-inclusive
like
hotel.
The crepes.
Yeah.
Country or... Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, no. I say it and then 3, 2, 1. I can't get the grasp of this. Country or city? 3, 2... I don't even know. Hang on. Let me just think for 1 second.
I think it's got to be quick. 3,
3, 2, 1. Country.
City.
No, city. I don't know. I'm like so torn with that because I like both. I want to be like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I feel like...
Actually, I'm going to go with country because actual city, as in like in a city centre, no. I would not want to live in a city centre.
No, yeah, I suppose so.
Because city is different from like town, isn't it?
Yeah, like where we are now.
Country, for sure.
Yeah, but just close enough that we're near a city. Maybe,
exactly.
Yeah, I think
so
I'm changing my answer.
Yeah.
I feel like because I've lived in like the middle of a field for like... years, I'm like, every time I go to a city, I'm like, there's actually so much to do now.
Yeah, but that's not living there. Like, imagine.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like
Birmingham
I feel like I'd be the other
London.
way around if it was the other situation. So, yeah. Do you know what? I'm gonna go with country. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change my answer.
I'm gonna go with country too.
Organised or spontaneous? Spontaneous. Organised or spontaneous? 3, 2, 1.
Spontaneous.
2 different brains going on here. Yeah, no, I am.
If one of us wasn't organised,
I feel
then
like we kind of pick each other up here.
I'm not organised. Like, I'm literally not. I will not organise anything ever.
I have to be, otherwise I'll just cry in a corner somewhere. Like, I literally will fall apart.
Yin and yang, you see?
Yes.
This works.
Exactly, opposites attract there.
And it's kind of like my sister, for example. My sister, she's the organiser of the family. I just turn up. I don't know what's going on. We're going to Disney next month. Do I know where we're eating? No. Do I even know how many days we're going in the park? No. But she's done it all, so what do I need to do?
There you go.
Just turn up. And that's how it works. It's just, if we were all organised, it would be too...
we button heads.
Button heads,
all
exactly.
Button heads, because you don't want to do different things. Yeah.
I agree with that. I am totally just spontaneous. Like, I would rather just not arrange something and just be like, I'm just going to do that. I'd just rather do that because I can't be thinking too far ahead. I'll get all jumbled. But you're quite organised, which is nice because you organise stuff for us. And
I do try.
That's nice because it means I don't have to turn my brain on. Moving on from this or that, we are going to talk about how we met because someone asked this question last week about how we met, but it's obviously, I feel like we've been talking about this for a while, so we thought we may as well make this like the topic of the podcast.
I was just thinking, like, how far in depth are we going here?
Well,
because I feel like
the unfiltered version. I reckon.
Unfiltered version.
I don't think there isn't really a filtered version of the story.
Well, no, I mean,
it's just
nothing
a story.
was. Yeah, it's just a story. But like, I was just wondering how far we're going back here. Like,
well, I don't know. So I suppose we could cast our minds back when we actually met. If we're talking about when we actually met for the first time as people, like without it being any romance at all, it was...
Well, it was like
I don't actually know,
middle of September. Mid-September, early
I'd just
September.
come off Disney cruise and Mitchel had just started at my work, but... I
was in rehearsals for our...
I just met you.
Legends of the Fook.
Yeah, I just met him in a rehearsal, basically. But I was very much like on a downer because I just come back from Disney.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was like,
well, I'm not surprised. I think I would be if I came back off a Disney cruise.
I like waltzed in my Disney Cruise Line jersey. And here he was, new boy in town. I thought, well,
new boy in town.
Here we go, new boy. That was how we actually met. But obviously that wasn't like a romantic meet, was it?
No.
That was just like
that was just
colleague.
Our first introduction to each other. And you actually, you didn't know if I was Michael or Mitchell, did you?
Well, yeah, I walked in and we also had a new manager starting at the same time as Mitchell. So I was a bit confused. Even though I'd met our manager, Michael, before, the first person that came towards me with open arms was Michael. And I was like, he looked really different because he didn't have a hat on. So I was like, are you Mitchell? And then he was like, no, I'm Michael. And I was like, oh, of course you are.
It's like your Michael impression.
What an idiot. That was my Michael impression. We weren't really like friends. I would say. We became friends like December, was it?
Like November, December. No, it was December.
It was literally
like early December. So there's like 3 years. 3 years.
3 years.
3 months. 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months of colleagueness.
Yes.
Then friendship formed in December because we went on a dog walk, I think. That was like our first like friendship meet.
Yeah, we took Oscar.
Friends.
check.
So I look after a dog basically from work, and I was like, I don't even know why we were chatting. Oh, it's because basically there was a power cut that happened at work.
Oh,
so I was at a concert in London.
Jamie Cullum.
And then this whole place went down, basically. There was a massive power cut. So
it was
me
like,
and Mitchel,
it was bad. Like the whole hotel had to shut the hotel, send all the guests home. Like it was bad. And then ended up in Wetherspoons. Literally ended up in Wetherspoons. Not with you because you were in London.
With other people. But then you just messaged me like, oh, do you want to come? Because the hotel shut, so obviously I wasn't working. And I was like, oh, I'll see what time I get back, blah, 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 blah. That was like the first time we'd really spoke. We'd had like a little bit of like banter about Roblox because I used to play this game. I've not played it in ages, Dress to Impress.
Really selling us as grown adults
and
right
basically, yeah, we'd had a bit of like Roblox banter because I was playing it at dinner. I was playing it at dinner banter. And Mitchel was like, oh, I've downloaded that game. And then I was like, oh, why don't you add me on Roblox so we could play like duo mode? And he ended up adding the wrong username, and I was like, literally added probably like a
that was the username
child.
You gave me, can I just say, but it was wrong. It was misspelled. You missed. I thought your username was L May, not LMA.
Excuse me, don't give away my Roblox.
Well, it's got some numbers at the end. But anyway, yeah, maybe they can play Roblox with us. We'll have a group Roblox session.
Anyway, I declined the offer because, quite frankly, got home too tired, thought, I can't be bothered.
Well, no, you were going to go out afterwards, but I think everywhere was pretty much closed by that point anyway.
Yeah, it was like, unless we went to a full-on club, we weren't going to, and I was not, didn't want to go to a club. Like, I was tired. I've been in London
I swear I was in Wetherspoons for what felt, I think it was literally about 6 hours.
What was your intention behind that, Mitchell? Did you message me out of pure friendship? Or?
Actually, yeah, it was. I didn't know that you wasn't in a relationship at the time.
Right.
So it was purely friendship.
Yeah.
Like, because I actually didn't know.
Fair enough.
Literally had no idea.
So you thought I was taking lady and that was that?
And I literally invited you out as a friend. And also, if I'd have known at the time, like, I would have invited, you and your partner at the time. So it was like...
Fair play. This power cut went on for like the whole weekend, didn't it?
It was 2 days. It was a Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. So
I remember we had to go in and do a Sunday matinee because the power had come back on. But they still weren't allowed to have the guests back because they had to do all like the laundry and stuff.
Yes, I remember.
So I still did a Sunday matinee, but that was literally it.
But then you had all the evening off.
Yeah.
So the night after, me, you, and our other colleague / friend, Hannah, we went to the bar.
Colleague.
Well, for context of the people that don't know who we're talking about, we went to a bar in Studley, the three of us. Again, it was just friendship, wasn't it? Then, like we were just like getting on really well as friends, and that's when I
still don't think I even knew then.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I still see exactly. This is what I mean.
So the intention, well, exactly. There was no intention for a romance there really at all. It was just friends. And then after that was probably when we went on the dog walk, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like the dog walk was like...
Because I'm like the only person, I'm on a different schedule to the others because I technically have a different job. So I work in the evenings only. So basically I'm like, if everyone else is at work and Mitchell was off, it's like I was on my own, he was on his own, and I hang out with Hannah a lot. So I was like, if you ever want to do anything with me, you can, because I'm lonely. I'm a lonely soul.
And I was here by myself as well. I used to live with someone in the place where I stay now. So I used to live with someone, and then he'd transferred to a different job, and then I've been here literally since the end of October.
So you were left alone.
Been left. Thanks, Ryan.
So basically then the friendship started to like blossom from there, and then we just became really like good friends really, didn't we? Because I just realised we had quite a lot in common. Like it was really weird when we'd be talking about stuff and
we'd talk about all sorts.
Oh my god, like everything we
on
say is like the same. Like we have the same like favourite musicals, the same favourite songs, like artists and things like that. So SpongeBob. We had that in common. Yeah, Toy Story, Disney. Like, so we had a lot of things in common. So then we just started talking loads, and we were really good friends. I don't know if we went on any more like days out. I can't think.
I feel like we went for like breakfast and things, but again, I feel like that was like me, you, and Hannah.
Yeah, there was always like a third party because we went to the cinema a few times as well.
Yeah, exactly. We were always doing things together, but with other people there.
If I'm honest, like I was very much like, no romance is happening here. So I would invite someone else and be like, and again, this is not a date.
Again, like I was in a, you know, we were both kind of come out of situations at the same sort of time, hadn't we? So it's kind of like, I mean, I wasn't in a relationship, but yeah, it was kind of, it was a bit of a difficult situation. And then we kind of both sort of found each other in that time, I suppose, afterwards, didn't we?
Exactly. Which obviously like...
It was unexpected, like literally
Yeah, it was.
I didn't realise how similar we were.
Well, no, because we'd never really like chatted as friends, really. Like I say, we were just purely colleagues, really, for like a few months.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know you very well, and you probably didn't know me. And also, like, I wasn't that happy before. Like, I feel like I was in a bit of a rut. So you probably met me, and I was a bit like not myself, I suppose. So I would be like, oh, well, I want to spend time with you, but I don't want us to be like 1-to-1 all the time, because then that's like dating.
Exactly.
So I was like, who wants to come to the cinema? Like, all of us, like not just us, but like we'd always like sit next to each other and stuff.
Oh,
and, like it would basically be like just me and you were there because we'd be chatting, getting on. And then basically time went on.
It was over Christmas, wasn't it?
It was mainly like Christmas time.
We were quite chatty over
Christmas.
Quite chatty,
quite close. And then, it kind of just blossomed from there, I suppose. Like a few things, like our first like official date was like, when was it? Like beginning
February.
Was it like literally February?
February. It was the weekend after it was after Valentine's Day.
Because we've been
feel like we've missed a whole chapter here. Obviously stayed over a couple of times. Well, I think you stayed over once. We had like a team event at work. And then everyone came here afterwards and we did Secret Santa, didn't we?
Yes.
And you live a little bit further out and we'd all been drinking and things, and because no one's living here, I feel like I'm just exposing myself. Yeah, you'd stayed over that night. For legal reasons she didn't, but she did. But in the spare room, literally in the spare room, you just stayed over. And then I think people kind of had an idea in their heads, didn't they? Like people kind of...
Well, I think it's always the classic, isn't it? Like, I think everybody notices it before you do, in a way. Because you're just like naturally seeing... You're just getting on with someone.
You see two people getting along with each other who are off...
And people obviously see the chemistry before you necessarily know or see it as well. Like,
I mean, even at that point, we hadn't had that discussion. So the fact that anyone else was kind of a bit.
But that's what I mean. But like, it's always the case. Yeah. Like other people can see it because I don't know. It's in the eyes.
Exactly. But then obviously we'd been chatting after that. Again, you'd come over a couple of times, like during the daytimes and things. I think we'd watched a couple
had a few lunch.
Yeah, exactly. We'd been out for lunches and things like that, and you'd come round for breakfast and whatnot and walks and literally New Year's Eve, nothing had happened. But it was we were in the bar quite late. I mean, I'd finished work at like 1 and we were in the bar till like 5:30 in the morning.
5, 6, yeah.
You were staying in a hotel room, and we were messaging each other. And to be fair, I mean, we weren't really drunk. Were we that drunk?
No, not really.
I don't remember being that drunk. I just remember eating crackers.
I was tipsy. That wasn't like drunk.
Exactly. Yeah, we weren't really drinking all that much, but we were messaging a bit, weren't we? And we kind of just said that we missed each other, and then I turned up outside. See, I said turned then to your hotel room, knocked on the door, gave you a big cuddle.
And that was it. That
literally was it. But we were just chatting for like...
We just sat and talked. Like,
we were just talking for ages.
I don't think at this point I was still fully like, I want a romantic thing. But it was one of those things that was just happening. And I was like, there's only so much I can stop myself for like what reason. Because at the end of the day, the more I learned, the more I was like, you seem like the sort of person that I would really get on with.
We were connecting a lot, like over the whole time.
Yeah.
We first kissed again. We had like a team event but we were out this time, and yeah, it wasn't even that late, to be fair. I feel like we didn't even get back ridiculously late for going out, because we didn't go out to a club. I feel like we literally got back at like midnight.
Yeah, I think
just
so.
After maybe like 1.
It's probably like 1, yeah.
But anyway, that was you were staying, but again, it was, you're meant to be in the spare room.
I could have definitely stayed at home though. Like, I obviously wanted to stay over, but it wasn't because of like anything.
Exactly.
Seedy. I just was like, we can talk.
Yeah, we can talk.
We can talk all night.
Exactly.
Yay, sleepover.
So yeah, and then we went to bed, literally separate rooms, and then
separate rooms.
Yeah, and then
basically it was just like we were just chatting again, and then that was just basically the first like thing that was like romantic, I suppose, that night. And then I was like, do you know what? Yeah, why not? Because I think like
why not?
I was like, why not? He's worn me down. I'm joking. I'm joking. We just get on really well, and we got so much in common, and I couldn't really find anything of fault. So no, well, I couldn't, and I can't still. So that's just and then it just kind of went from there. It's like once it's like, okay, this is kind of something more than friendship starts, then you kind of spirals from there, doesn't it? Again, I was a bit like, oh, we don't want to like rush into things.
Oh no, exactly. Like even
that.
From that, like even from our first kiss, like after that, we still
we
communicated, and that was like the biggest thing for me. Like the first thing I said to you was, well, I knew like we were both still in quite not vulnerable positions, but you know what I mean, like we were still quite not.
You just wanted to make
sure. I wanted to make sure that you were okay, and that it was something that you wanted, and the same with me. I needed to make sure that it's something that I wanted, but I knew that I suppose like in the grand scheme of it, I mean, it was like a month of sort of like
friendship and
like getting to know each other.
And it was just unexpected.
Exactly, it came very unexpectedly, but that was that's some of the best things are,
Yeah.
So,
and I knew that when we started to become friends, I was like, I knew I would have been your friend anyway. Like I realized you were my kind of person.
Yeah, it just took longer than what we realized.
Yeah,
it took us longer to realize that.
Because we should have theoretically been friends since day one, really.
Oh yeah.
But I was just a bit distracted with other things, and I wasn't here a lot, really.
Well, the same with me though as well. Like,
well,
I had
you
a lot
were
of stuff
very
in September,
distracted.
but it was so much going on, and it was like. Yeah.
So it's almost like once like the fog had lifted, then we were like,
found our way to each other.
You're cool, and I'm cool, and we could be cool together. And then we went on like a first official date in like February, because
it was after Valentine's Day, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I remember that was the first date we could get in the diary. Like obviously we've been on like dates, like lunch dates and stuff, but as in
actually
like a
official
dinner
going
date,
out. Dressing up.
Yeah.
And not every date needs to be like that, Some we've gone on
but it's nice to have
dates, but we hadn't got to do that yet, and it was nice that
we
did, because I wanted to do it for quite a while, and it just took longer than I'd hoped to be able to do that.
Because I'm never blooming free, that's why.
Well, no,
it was literally like the next Saturday that we could possibly get in, and then we became official like literally in February, which is fairly quick turnaround. But I feel like like when people are in Love Island and they are in it for like 4 weeks or something, but because they're spending so much time together.
Yeah, exactly, we spent so much time together,
and I think that's the thing, like in a normal, like, because we work together and obviously like live in really close proximity, like literally 5 minutes away, so we were seeing each other every day pretty much at work, and then if we weren't at work we were meeting up on days off and stuff. In a usual sort of dating scenario, I suppose you would literally have like one date, and then it might be like 2 weeks, and then another date. And obviously that's going to take much longer to develop a connection.
Oh, exactly, 100%.
But with us, because we were spending a lot of time together, and like at work as well, I was seeing you like pretty much every single day. I don't know, it's just a different kind of thing.
Yeah.
But also, it's not one of those, I felt like I wanted to make sure it wasn't a scenario where it was just convenient because we worked together.
Because we were both there.
Again, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like the work relationships and that.
I feel like that could be a whole episode of like.
Yeah, because I've definitely been in that situation in the past.
Exactly. Yeah.
because it's like close proximity, isn't it? It's like when you're at school, there's only so many people in your class or whatever.
Yeah, you're going to be friends with everyone, aren't
so
you,
I wanted to make sure that it wasn't that, and I'm 100% certain that if we'd have met outside of this
still would have
scenario,
happened.
Again, like I knew this because I wasn't wanting a relationship. If I was desperate for a relationship at the time, I'd have been understanding of like, oh, this guy's in front of me, I'm desperate for a relationship. But actually I was the opposite. I wanted to be by myself. So it was almost frustrating that you were so lovely, because I was like, why is this nice boy have to like come along when I really want to be alone right now? But you know, I mean, I don't obviously want to be on my own now, because you just make life better. So yeah, so I think that's
pretty much it to summarize
it, without going into like specific details. There's a few that Mitchell can cut out from that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mitchell's like at 12:18
at
p.m.
12:18 2 hours later.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. And then we just wanted to also talk about and touch upon I suppose we had a few questions about working. Was one of the questions about working together? Like, how do you find working together? And we didn't actually answer that one last week.
Are we saving that? Are we going to do that now? We're going to make a whole episode on that, because I feel like...
I don't know. Well, what other questions did you have?
What is your first memory of performing that gave you that feeling?
Again, going back to the last episode, we talked about the Amdram thing. But actually, one of my biggest, like, most standout memories was my first year college showcase, because it was at the massive Haymarket Theatre in Leicester. And like the audience was full. It was a massive stage. That was like the first time I'd performed, like, and it was the first time I'd like danced properly. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, since having a year of training, like my family hadn't watched me dance. And I remember my mum being like, oh my God, how do you kick your legs so high? You were so not flexible. I was like,
you were so not flexible.
Thanks, but also, yeah. So it was nice because it was like they were finally seeing me perform after having like a year of actual training. Yeah. So it was like a whole different ball game. So that was really good. That was really cool.
I suppose it sees the change in like from it going to like a hobby.
Exactly.
To then actually going into like, okay, like this is going to be pursued now.
With like proper choreography. Like I just wasn't used to that. It was really cool. Yeah. So that's probably mine, like my first like real memory besides like all the Amdram stuff. Because every time you perform, like I've never wanted to do anything other than perform.
This is what I mean. I suppose like
it's been something I love.
I suppose anytime you perform kind of gives you that feeling. Otherwise you just wouldn't do it. Like, it's just not for the faint-hearted, is it? It's just one of those things that you either...
Unfortunately.
If you don't love it, you just don't do it, because if you don't like it, it makes it unbearable, and it's like, why are you doing it? Like, it's...
But unfortunately, it does fade, and that's really sad to say, but, like, I've definitely found with the job we're in now, because we do so many shows, like, week in, week out, we do 3 shows a week, and I do, like, 6 band sets a week. It definitely fades. I don't get that feeling every time I do a show now.
Yeah, I suppose when it becomes like routine.
It is like routine, but it's kind of sad.
It is sad, yeah. But I suppose then that's kind of where it's good that there's so many things within this industry that you can kind of like go to. You know, like if you, you know, there's so many other things out there.
Yeah, you just have to... You just can't stay in the same place for too long.
No, exactly.
Like, I'm assuming if you're in a West End show for like 5 years running, you're not still going to get that same like feeling at the end. Maybe you do.
Exactly,
I don't know.
Then that's why people obviously rotate and they go on different shows, and you know, some people then return to that show later on. Like it's completely different from person to person.
I can totally get why people do that. Anyway,
mine was, well, I would have to say Oliver, to be honest. I mean, that was like the first thing.
Well, yeah,
that I ever
did that professionally, didn't you?
Yeah, it was the 2012 to 2013 tour. Like, it was so bizarre because at that point I'd not done any like musical Amdram thing. Like, I literally started off in like a village hall on like a Wednesday after school doing like street dancing. Street dancing. I kid you not, I was doing street dancing, and my sisters went as well.
Can't imagine you doing street dancing.
But it was weird. Like, my sisters went as well. And they obviously did it for like a hobby, like they really enjoyed it. And then they'd stopped, and I remember apparently I was like harassing my mum and dad that I wanted to go. So I went and then I stayed and I carried it on.
Right.
Like,
There's always like one sibling that's I mean. Like, I'm going to take it seriously.
But if they hadn't have gone, like, would I have got? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what would I have done? Like, I don't know what it was about it that made me. I can't tell you what it was about that place that made me want to do it. But anyway, I then was at this dance school from the age of like 2 or 3 up until I think I was 8. So I was there for a while. And some people who went to school with went there as well. And then they had open calls for the tour of Oliver. And I remember, like, I don't even think I really had a clue what it was at the time. You know, I think I'd watched the film. Like, I remember I'd watched the film as soon as I kind of heard about it to do some research, I suppose. And then, yeah, I did this audition, like, didn't really think anything of it. You know, there's hundreds and thousands of children that audition to be in the workhouse, like the group of workhouse children. And yeah, did this audition, and then I just remember being like stunned that I'd actually got it. I remember having to sing like "Consider Yourself" in like a Cockney accent. Yeah, literally like that. Like, I don't know what happened. I remember at the time as well, like, it was just my dad. Like, my dad was there. Like, he was taking me to and from the audition. I think my mum and my sisters were at JLS. I feel like they were at JLS. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were at JLS. So they weren't there either. So my mum was obviously like stressed because she didn't know what was happening. And then my dad was there, and I don't think my dad really knew what was happening as well. Like, he had no idea. I had no idea. So I just ended up going onto this job, like, not even having a clue. And then next thing you know, I'm performing in the big theatre in Norwich, the Theatre Royal, doing Oliver with like Brian Connolly, working with Cameron McIntosh, Cat Simmons. And it was, yeah, cool. It was like the start of my love for theatre, I suppose. Yeah. Again, I'd always liked singing and dancing, but I suppose like musical theatre, I didn't really have a clue. But it was definitely that show that sparked that feeling in me to want to pursue it. Yeah,
feeling.
Exactly. Yeah.
And meanwhile, I was doing Oliver when I was like 7 in a little theatre in Derby, little Amjam theatre.
But it's weird though, because even after doing that, like, I then didn't do any musical theatre at all. I went to a dance school, did like ISTD, and then in Cromer, they were doing Oliver in their like peer pavilion theatre. And then I did it then 2 years later, like Amdram production, still in the workhouse gang. But it was funny because I'd auditioned for the role of Oliver, and the woman came out to the house. So literally came from Cromer, which was like a good like 40 minutes at the time before they made the new roads. Like 40 minutes away, she'd come to like re-audition me, and then was like, "You're too tall." I was like, "Fair play." I'm pretty sure my height hasn't changed since the last time you saw me, so you probably would have known that. But yeah, they just she came re-audition me for Oliver. But yeah, it was great.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, you have to collaborate with one artist, but in their style or genre. Who are you choosing?
Oh, their style or genre.
Yeah,
Bruno Mars. He's amazing, and I love his style and genre. And if I was to write songs, I would want to write songs like him, but I just don't know how you would.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that.
Like his like "Die with a Smile," for example. That's like
it's such a good song.
Incredible. Versace on the Floor, incredible. But it's like, how do you get that out? Because like songs? In my head, I'm like, that is the vibe, but I could never like actually do it. So definitely Bruno Mars. I wish I was Lady Gaga, so I could collab with him. That would be amazing.
Well, you never know. Ella Holmes and Bruno Mars, the collab of the century.
Literally die.
Imagine.
Literally, that would be the best day of my life. What about you? Put like an edit of a cog turning round.
Sat staring like
vacant stare.
Oh, this is hard. I feel like it just has to be someone like funky.
Yeah. Well, that's Bruno Mars.
That's what I mean. I feel like I was thinking Bruno Mars, but like also Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
I'd love to do Stevie Wonder.
That would be great. Dua Lipa.
Oh, yeah. No, changing it. I want to sing with Dua Lipa. If she's watching this, you know, If Dua Lipa's agent or manager is watching this and she's looking for people to collab with,
the likelihood is high.
I will support you on tour if you want. I don't even know if they can see the vinyl in the. No, they can't. They can see the Stevie vinyl though. Oh, you can.
Dua's behind.
There we go.
Here.
My Dua Lipa vinyl. It is literally my favourite one. It was great. It is great. She is brilliant. I am constantly listening to her live at the Royal Albert Hall soundtrack.
She's great.
Oh, she's insane.
She's really good. I think her and Bruno Mars should actually collab.
I feel like they should. Have they not? Maybe they have, and I just don't know.
Don't think so.
But yeah, I feel like she writes such a variety of music. I mean, she's definitely gone down like the 80s sort of inspired vibe now since Future Nostalgia. But
Future Nostalgia, the song is like
exactly,
my favorite.
yeah.
Love it.
I really like Training Season. Training Season's good.
Yeah,
she just writes I can't name you a bad Dua Lipa song, to be honest.
If we've missed anything out, we'll just put it in next week's, but I don't think we have.
No.
But if anyone's got any more questions about anything to do with that, fire away.
I was going to say, send them.
You 100 people that are watching.
I was going to say, we've obviously got the Instagram account at ifthebootfitspod. So send us any questions on there, or if you want to send us a voice note as well, please feel free.
Confessions, questions,
send in your dilemmas, anything like that.
Not that we're qualified to
deal
with that, but I do feel like I am quite good.
I feel like we're both quite good from different perspectives. I feel like we both offer.
I'm really good at giving advice, I think. I'm quite wise inside, really.
Yeah, I think we're both wise.
Been through a lot of friendship dramas, relationship dramas. So if anyone needs any advice on that, let me know. I'm your gal. And also, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be really appreciated. If you're watching, please subscribe. Don't be shy. We don't judge around here. No judgment zone.
Absolutely not. No judgment. Let us know what platform you're watching or streaming on.
Yeah. And share it on your stories, please. We just really appreciate the support.
Exactly. And you can go and follow our individual pages as well. They'll come on the screen and will be in the description of sorts, whatever platform you're watching on. But apart from that, I think that's wrapped up.
And remember, if the boot fits, wear it. And that is all. See you next episode. Bye, everyone.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.